The foundation to that level of success is having a healthy body and mind. It's really simple. If you have more energy, you can put that energy into growing whatever it is that you want. Maybe it's your relationships. Maybe it's your business. Maybe it's doing something next level. The energy comes from our body. And if our body is sleep deprived, is overfed, is under-exercised, it just ain't gonna work well. And our mind is an extension of our body. It's affected by our body.
What's up, my friend, and welcome back to another episode of the Legendary Life Podcast. I'm your host, Ted Rice, coach to entrepreneurs, executives, and other high performers. And I've got a message for you today. And that message is this: living a legendary life isn't for the faint of heart. And whether it's been helping Robert Downey Jr. get in shape for his first Iron Man movie, or helping Ricky Martin prepare for a world tour, or helping one of my entrepreneur clients stay in shape while his business was growing, it doesn't make a difference. Being legendary is about making legendary decisions. And I remember a few years ago when I decided that it was time to focus on growing my business. And at the time, I was competing in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I was really into it. When I wasn't training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I was watching videos about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I was learning how to lift weights for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I even had, and this is true, a grappling dummy in my house to practice moves. And I won a bunch of medals. I never made it quite to world champion status, but I won more competitions than I lost. But I had hit a point in my business where I wasn't happy with the lifestyle I was living. And so I took all that energy, that time, that money I put into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and learning the best techniques to help my personal training clients, and I put it into building my business. And in the process, I did what a lot of my high performer clients do. I put my health last. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was in the health and fitness business, so I couldn't just get obese or stop working out completely. But I had this idea. I was going to biohack my fitness and nutrition while I spent most of my time working on my business. I was drinking coffee for breakfast with a little MCT oil, intermittent fasting until lunchtime, cutting out all the carbs. I mean, I wouldn't even buy fruit. And for my workouts, I would do high intensity interval training workouts because I can get better results in less time. And guess what? I got fat. More specifically, my weight shot up to 210 pounds from 185 pounds. And my body fat measured in at 24% body fat. If you look at the American Council on Exercise's chart for body fat, that's 1% shy of being obese. I was almost obese. Not great for a person whose business is in the health and fitness vertical, let's say. Even worse, I had high blood pressure, pre-diabetic blood sugar levels, a low sex drive, and I snored so loudly that I would wake myself up in the middle of the night. That is true. And up to that time, most of my clients had been entrepreneurs. They owned data companies and restaurants and clubs, and they were executives for Fortune 500 companies. They were attorneys that only took $20 million cases, and a bunch of other people with similar high performance careers. And I remember the lectures I would give them about needing to take their health seriously. And here I was falling into the same trap that they fell into. It was then that I realized that, man, I was good at some things when it came to health and fitness, but I wasn't as good as I thought. Now, of course, I knew how to get in shape when my whole lifestyle revolved around long workouts and eating strict low-carb diets, but I didn't know how to get in shape while growing a business and being there for my family, having fun with my friends, making time so that I actually enjoy my life. It was a tough pill to swallow for someone who spent as many years as I did in the health and fitness industry, but it was a necessary lesson. And it was a critical turning point in not just my business, but my life. I made a decision that something needed to change. And then I got to work. And day in, day out, I would go on to learn not just how to transform my body, but also my mind. I spent hundreds of hours delving into the latest, most cutting edge research on fitness, nutrition, recovery. I learned about professional burnout. I learned about stress, something that is so poorly understood by even most health and fitness professionals. I was like, what is going on here? And how can I have it all and still enjoy my social life? How can I still go out, eat at restaurants that have the chef's name on the dessert menu and just sort of let loose? How can I do that and not end up like the overweight and obese 70% of other Americans, even ones that, are quite wealthy? I've trained a lot of wealthy but obese people. How could I create a system that allowed me to do that? And what I ended up learning is that I had fallen for a lot of bullshit. I mean, bullshit perpetuated by the weight loss industry and by other influencers. You can't eat carbs if you want to lose fat. You need to do this special concoction by putting MCT oil and butter in your coffee, or you need to take expensive supplements, all this bullshit, man. And I tried it all and it didn't work. And when that happened, that's when I hit bottom. That's when I became determined to learn what's real here and what really works. And more important than that, instead of coming up with the complicated, drink coffee and skip breakfast and put MCT oil and butter and take branched chain amino acids and then eat at 2 p.m. when you're like, when you're about ready to snap, like what are the principles that scale for everybody instead of having to follow these strict, ridiculous rules that so many people share online that they purport as being the secret to getting in shape. And eventually I figured it out. And now I'm able to live my best life while being in the best shape of my life. My business is thriving right now. I eat a pastry every day. I'm in Portugal. I mean, they're famous for pastries. I had an almond tart this morning along with my cappuccino after I did my cardio. And it's been years since that moment of truth and the success that came from it. But I often reflect on it when I see what people believe is necessary to get in shape. And when people tell me they're working so hard to change their body, but it's just not working, or they're following these strict diets and they do get results, but they just can't keep it up. They go on vacation or go out to socialize for a work event, or maybe just to hang out with some friends, and they end up going backwards. And that's what I do. That's why I do what I do today. I've seen it change my life. And more importantly, I've seen it change the lives of my clients and the people who listen to this show. And today I work with 7-figure and 8-figure business owners. And these people, they don't just want to have money. They want to build a legacy. And I want to tell you something right now that we're not being told enough. The foundation to that level of success is having a healthy body and mind. It's really simple. If you have more energy, you can put that energy into growing whatever it is that you want. Maybe it's your relationships. Maybe it's your business. Maybe it's doing something next level. The energy comes from our body. And if our body is sleep deprived, is overfed, is under-exercised, it just ain't going to work well. And our mind is an extension of our body. It's affected by our body. I remember a conversation that I had with a client recently who is saying he's got more money than he's ever had in his life and more unhappy than he's ever been in his life due to the amount of stress he was under and due to his physical condition and seeing himself in the mirror. In fact, he said he had trouble even looking at himself in the mirror. If you're feeling that way, the truth is this: if you have an area of your life, like your health, especially your health, but I think it goes for your career / business and also your relationships, and you know you've got to do something about it. You feel called to do something about it. It's draining energy from you every single day. It's draining energy from you every single day. Maybe when you wake up in the morning and see yourself in the mirror, it's draining energy because you know you could do better. You know you should do better, but for some reason you're not doing better. Maybe it's the strategies that you're trying. They're not delivering results. Or when you try the strategies, you got to give up on them because they're just not sustainable. And what I want to tell you is we're about to do something new. And I'm really excited to share it with you on this podcast. For those of you who are new to me, I'm Ted Rice, and it's great to be here with you. And for those of you who've been with me on the journey, it's only just beginning. So what I want you to do is I want you to stay tuned. And that is my message for today. I've got something big coming, something that's going to help you so much. So stay tuned, have an amazing weekend, and I'll speak to you on Monday.